Russian scientists stated in 1970 that Moon is artificial space object. The hypothesis that the Moon is hollow inside is far from new. In his 1901 novel entitled The First Men in the Moon, H.G. Wells, 1866–1946, known to many as the father of science fiction, wrote about an epic journey to the Moon. The protagonists of the novel are surprised to learn that the Moon is not at all what it seems to be from Earth. In fact, it is hollow and inhabited by a strange alien race. Such fantasies were very bold for a novel published in 1901. However, as soon as people visited the Moon more than 60 years later, the concept of a hollow moon was further developed. Why did this happen? During lunar landings, astronauts deployed several seismographs on the lunar surface. These tools are designed to record movements and vibrations. Seismographs remained on the lunar surface to collect activity data on the Moon. The instruments that were installed during the Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, and 16 missions transmitted information to the Earth via a radio channel until they were simply turned off because of financial savings in 1977. According to Gaia, the astronauts were given a series of ALSEPs, or Apollo Lunar Surface Experiment Packages, to set up seismographs and initiate detonations ranging from shotgun-like charges to mortars with multiple grenades. Eventually, NASA intentionally crash-landed the Apollo 12 module as well as the SIVB rocket, setting off an explosive force equivalent to nearly 12 tons of TNT. These data spoke a lot about the Moon and its internal structure. In particular, they reported the existence of moonquakes. These events were divided into 4 categories. 1. Deep moonquakes, 700 kilometers below the surface. 2. Vibrations, caused by meteorite impacts. 3. Thermal moonquakes. 4. Small moonquakes, 20–30 kilometers below the surface. These last small moonquakes led to the hypothesis of a hollow moon. It is said that during these events, the Moon rang like a bell. This phrase was often used after the Apollo 12 flight. During its implementation, the 2.5-ton takeoff stage was deliberately dropped on the lunar surface. The duration and severity of the seismic disturbance caused by the shock surprised the seismologists. They heard strong signals lasting for more than an hour and a half after the impact and weaker signals that were recorded within an hour after the collision. It is not surprising that using such information, some people came to the appropriate conclusion. The Moon, in their opinion, may not be as solid as official science claims. Some highly respected scientists of the last century have stated that the Moon is an alien spaceship. It is known as the theory of Vasin-Shcherbakov. In an article by Mikhail Vasin and Alexander Shcherbakov published in 1970, it was suggested that the Moon is actually an artificial hollow satellite of the Earth, placed in near-Earth orbit by extraterrestrials. Vasin and Shcherbakov were the members of the USSR Academy of Sciences. However, the article was published not in a scientific journal, but in the Sputnik publication. It was a kind of Soviet literary digest. Former NASA scientist Robin Brett, who was among the first people to study and direct research on moon rocks, said, "It seems easier to explain the non-existence of the Moon than its existence." Besides, according to scientists, the Moon is older than the Earth by nearly 800,000 years, which raises a lot of questions.